Treb Jacoby, driver of the J82 Imperial Bull, Test Drive Technologies, Atwell Exteriors, Advanced Auto Parts, UMP, Open Modified. I am from O'Fallon, Missouri. It's about 40 minutes west of St. Louis, home of the Gateway Dirt Nationals. I started racing when I was 14 years old. I had a long history of racing in our family. My grandfather was an announcer. He started announcing in 1943 or 42, I believe. And my dad started racing in 1969 in the quarter midgets. And when I got to be about 14 years old, they finally trusted me with my dad's old sportsman car, which was a 1999 Camaro chassis he built himself. I ran it at Callaway County Raceway, and I started 17th out of 18. I had a bad heat race, had some problems with the brakes, car wouldn't turn, and I got up to third place by strictly wrecking everybody in my path. Now, one car was left standing, and when I got up to third, I got into another car going into a restart in turn one, and took us both out of the race, and that was the end of that. I thought we had a shot at winning it, I think, but tore up a lot of stuff. We thought we were going to be fighting for our lives to get out of the pit area that night, but thankfully we were in a good old country area, good old boys out there in Callaway. Everybody I wrecked seen how old I was, and they came over to our pit with a beer after the race for my dad and said, "Looks like you're going to have quite the week ahead of you." And they gave us some tips on how I could not do that. And I think the pure adrenaline of driving as fast as you can on a track that really can't contain some of the speeds that it's getting up to. That's why we signed up for Bristol. It's just racing on a surface that is uncontrollable. You never know what it's going to be. The most fun that I have with it is trying to figure out the cars, setting them up. Now we're up in the A-Mod division here, and I'm not really familiar with the 4-bar stuff, so we've been racing 3 links the last 7 years, and it's definitely going to be an experience. So just stuff like that keeps me around, just constantly learning, and as soon as you stop learning, you stop running up front and stop winning. So you got to continuously adapt to be competitive in this sport, and that's why I think I've been able to keep going all these years. It's just interesting to watch things change, technology advances, and we'll see how it goes this season. Very first car I ever drove was actually a B-Mod when I was 13 years old. At the end of a play day one night, my dad said I could drive their car. Him and his buddy Larry owned the car. That was the very first thing I ever got a chance to drive. I didn't get to race until the following year, and me and my dad put together his old sportsman car, and that's what I ran for the next 3 seasons. I finally moved up to the B-Mods in 2015, racing at Peevely and the Federated Auto Parts Raceway, and then I got some offers to drive some other cars throughout the years. I drove a super late model, I drove a crate late model, a street stock, a 4-cylinder. Out of all of those, I think the super late model and the 4-cylinder were the most fun to drive. The horsepower behind the super late model was exciting, and then the speed that the Hornets or the 4-cylinders are able to get up to with the little tires they have in the small wheelbase, it's definitely an experience for sure. To be honest, I don't know what our expectations are this year. It's going to be definitely a trip. I've never really raced an A-Mod. I've raced in the A-Mod class, but never with an actual A-Mod. I've ran the B-Mod on some nights where they allow you to run both classes. We did that at Macon Speedway a few years ago, and actually picked up a heat race win with the A-Mods. But as far as that goes, I've only ran a handful of A-Mod events with the B-Mod, a 602 crate motor, and now this car here, we got a 377 in. I think it's only going to be making 620 horsepower or something like that. We haven't dynoed it. It's an old motor. It's actually out of one of Carl Springer's old vintage cars back in the 80s. So it'd be interesting to see if this motor makes it through the whole season, and I'm hoping for the best. I'd have to say my favorite memory be from 2013. My dad and me brought our sportsman cars to Callaway, and I had never won a feature before. and I was running second to my dad. He was leading the race, and we started getting spread out a couple laps in, and I actually drove underneath of him to take the lead. And he swears he got off the gas and let me go by, but I still think he was all the way through the floorboard trying to keep up. I ended up winning the race by a straightaway, and he finished second. So the whole family got to celebrate on the front straightaway, and everybody in the family was there that night, so definitely a huge celebration. The track actually had a golf cart that they would drive everybody to the infield with, because people in the bleachers are so far away from the track there. They put everybody in a golf cart and drive you down to the infield and have a big celebration down on the front stretch. So that was pretty cool, especially for me and Dad both to go 1 and 2. We parked both of our cars down in Victory Lane, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the family was crying, including me. I'm still kicking myself in the face for not entering into the Gateway Dirt Nationals at the Dome. Again, I had a B mod at that time, but when we actually got there, I seen a whole bunch of B mods signed up, and a lot of those guys were able to get an invite again in the previous years whenever they switched to invite instead of just entry. So I'm kind of mad that I didn't do that. I feel like now had we got into the Dirt Nationals before it was an invite, we might have been able to put on a show and then earn ourselves an invite later on down the road just from being at the event. So I haven't got to run the Dome yet, so I didn't want to miss this opportunity with Bristol. I know we're starting out, we're a rookie team here, but in case there ever comes a time that we're not a rookie team and we're a contender and we've got good equipment and I feel like we can win races, I'll be thankful one day that we entered the Bristol Dirt Nationals. Give us a chance to run there again later on with better equipment. I really don't think I have any expectations coming into this. If we can make it through the whole week, we've got a lot of tough competition there. I haven't raced with almost 99% of these guys yet. I'm not really too sure how this is going to go for us. Hopefully we make it through unscathed and have a good time. And if we happen to be up front or contending, that just absolutely tickled me to death. I've never thought that this early in my career would be contending. I've been racing for 9 years now, and this will be the biggest event I've ever entered. So if we can make it through that and keep the car ready for the rest of the season, that'd be awesome. But as far as that goes, if we can make the show, I think that's the ultimate goal there. If we can run really good in the show, that's already above expectation. I'm in the car smiling, as happy as I can be, and everybody else probably has the advantage there, I think, because they're used to running in front of these caliber races. So I'm hoping with the Bristol Dirt Nationals being as big of a race as it is, that nobody there is calm and collected, and everybody there is kind of jumping for joy equally and kind of excited to be up front there, so nobody has the advantage, hopefully. If we're going back to racing, some fun facts are when I'm not racing at the track, I'm announcing. At Tri-City Speedway, I've announced, and Federated Auto Parts Raceway. The first track I forgot to announce that was Belclair Speedway in Belleville, Illinois. I walked up to the announcer there, Jason Davenroy, and I had told him, because I was younger, I was about 13 years old, and I told him, my grandfather, Glenn Jacoby, used to announce, and he used to announce at this racetrack, and as soon as I said Glenn Jacoby, his eyes lit up and he handed me the microphone and asked me if I could do it too. And next thing you know, I was announcing the Sportsman feature that night, and that's just something awesome there that I'll never forget. Ever since then, anytime I can get a microphone in my hand, I've tried to. If I hear they're announcing drivers on the infield, I'll rush on my mini bike down to the infield to try and get a part of that, and just like to talk and get as much information out as I can.